Hey everyone, and welcome to the start of another reading vlog. So I thought I would start this vlog by going through my plans for the week, because I mentioned in my last weekly reading vlog that I'm actually off work this week. I booked a week off work just kind of randomly. I had some holiday time that I needed to use up because I haven't had a week off in a really long time, and I have been starting to feel very burnt out recently. And because I was on a hen do over the weekend, I thought it would be quite nice to have this week off so I could relax afterwards. And also it's my nan's birthday, or it was my nan's birthday over the weekend, and it's also my sister's 18th towards the end of the week. And so yeah, I thought this would be a really nice week to have a bit of time off and hopefully also get some reading done. So last night I actually started and finished The Pale Dreamer by Samantha Shannon, which is the prequel novella to the Bone season. So I'm actually planning to start the Bone season tonight, and because I had a bit of spare time last night, I thought I might as well pick up the novella and give it a read and see what I thought of the writing style. I had heard that you could read the novella at any point, even though the events in the novella are set before the Bone season. It came out after, and so you can read it at any point, sort of thing. So the world of the Bone season is basically our world, I think, but it's set about 50 years in the future, where clairvoyancy is illegal. And the main character in this series is a girl called Paige Mahoney, and Paige is a clairvoyant, and you learn in The Pale Dreamer a little bit about her power and how she's part of this underground network of clairvoyants. And the plot of The Pale Dreamer is basically that they're trying to track down this poltergeist. I did really enjoy Samantha Shannon's writing style, and I found the world very intriguing. And so I'm really excited to pick up the Bone season this evening, hopefully. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to read tonight because Love Island is on at 9 and I'm currently waiting for my dinner to cook. It's about 6 o'clock, so I'm going to eat and then settle down for the night and get some reading done. Hey everyone, and happy Tuesday. So I thought I would pop in and do a quick update because I'm having a really good day today. I went out for lunch with my nan earlier, which was so nice, and then I also got to play with a kitten. So my auntie got a new kitten, I think about 6 months ago, might have even been less than that, and I hadn't met the kitten yet, and so I met the kitten today. And any day where I get to play with a kitten is a good day. So yeah, feeling really happy right now. I thought that I would also do a quick update on what I'm reading. So I mentioned that I was going to start the Bone season, and I am now about 20% of the way through. Really enjoying it so far. I wasn't sure what to expect with this book because whenever I'd heard people talk about the plot, they were always very vague, and I can see why now. So this book follows a girl called Paige Mahoney, who is a clairvoyant. At the very start of the book, she is captured and she's taken to this place where she learns what happens to clairvoyants when they are captured, and that's the only way I can really describe it. It's the way that I've heard other people describe the plot of this book, because the world does open up quite a lot. I'm struggling a little bit with the magic system and with understanding all the different powers that the clairvoyants have, but I think I'm following it, and I think it helps that because I read the prequel novella first, I understand the characters a little bit more and the relationships between Paige and certain other characters. I don't know if I've described the genre for this properly, but it's a paranormal fantasy that also has a bit of a sci-fi twist. And I think actually I said that it's set in our world in the future, but that's not entirely true. It's set in a world that's very similar to ours, but it's like a parallel world. So I am now about 40% of the way through the Bone season, and this world is a lot more brutal, I think, than I was expecting. It really throws you into the action, and without spoilers, the basic plot of this book is that we're essentially following Paige as she's learning how to fight, and we're following her through her training and how she's exploring this setting that she's in. I really like the atmosphere actually so far, and the way that this is told in the first person perspective from Paige's point of view, because I do feel like I know her quite well as a character. She's been through quite a lot of trauma so far, and because it is told in the first person point of view, you do empathise with her quite a lot. Don't have any strong feelings yet on any of the other characters, although I'm getting a little bit nervous because I know that this book came out quite a while ago. I think it was published in 2013, and I don't know if I'm gonna like the romance in this book. If there even is romance, I don't know yet, but I'm worried that it's going to use a trope that I don't like. So we're going to see how that goes. Overall though, it is a very easy writing style. I'm reading it quite quickly and I am finding that it's very fast paced. However, what I will say is that I'm 40% of the way through, as I might have said, and I think I'm only just starting to actually grasp the magic system of this world. Every so often the characters will start talking about something to do with the magic system and I'll find myself switching off a little bit because I don't really understand what they're talking about and nothing was being really explained, and so I have struggled a little bit, but I think I'm finally starting to get it, and I'm really hoping that I'll start to get it a lot more and it'll all start to come together the more that the book goes on. Also, something annoying that I wanted to mention about the Kindle edition of this book is that there's certain words and phrases that are italicized. Is that the right word? They're written in italics and it's really hard to read in places. I don't know whether it's just the formatting on my Kindle, but certain words and phrases are showing up really, really small, and so I'm having to really look closely to try and understand what it actually says. If you're reading a physical copy of this book, then you probably won't have this problem, but yeah, it was just something that I wanted to mention. I've just realised that I completely forgot to mention earlier that it's my dad's birthday, so happy birthday, Dad, if you're watching this. I have had a really lovely, chilled day. I feel like it hasn't been very productive. There was a lot of stuff that I wanted to get done today around the house that I haven't done because I've been really tired this week. I think it's because I was on the hen do over the weekend, and so I've been slowly recovering as the week's gone on, but I read a little more of The Bone Season this evening and I'm starting to find this really addictive and I'm really struggling to put it down. Definitely intrigued about one character in particular. I'm really hoping that this book goes in a completely different direction to what I think it's going to go in, because I've made a lot of assumptions and yeah, I'm really hoping that I'm wrong. I'm over halfway through now, and so I am hoping to finish this maybe tomorrow or Friday. Tomorrow I was thinking I might go into Worcester for the day and maybe have a look around the shops. They've got this elephant installation in Worcester at the moment. I don't really know how to describe it. Basically, these artists have designed these elephant statues and they've been put up all around Worcester, and I think that there's going to be an auction at the end of the summer where the elephants are going to be sold off to raise money for this local charity. So yeah, I thought I would pop into Worcester tomorrow and have a little walk around. I feel like I've just rambled for the past 5 minutes about absolutely nothing. You can tell that I'm tired and that it's getting quite late, so I might read another chapter and then go to bed.
Wayward is my fickle heart. Where would I be if it weren't for your grace, your strength? Faithful is your mighty hand, drawing me close with your tender kindness, your mercy that saves.
Hey everyone, so I wasn't sure if I was going to want to talk about this in this vlog, but I feel more weird not talking about it. So today is basically the 2-year anniversary of when I finished chemo, and so that's the main reason why I wanted to go into Worcester today, because I didn't want to sit at home and think and just fall into a hole. And so I'm doing okay. Like, it's been a really nice day actually. It's been really nice weather. Yeah, I went into Worcester earlier and I got myself some breakfast and then just had a little bit of a walk around the town, and it was really nice. It was just, yeah, better than staying at home anyway and just falling into a hole. So yeah, I'm not feeling like amazing today, but I'm not feeling as down as I thought I would. So I thought I would, yeah, just pop on and just say hi. Happy Thursday. I've almost finished the Bone season actually. I think I'm now about 75% of the way through. I read a little bit earlier while I was having breakfast, and then also I sat in Starbucks for a while and had a drink and stuff. And so I think I'm getting to the point now where there's going to be some kind of epic conclusion. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing how everything unfolds. And I'll probably do a final update tomorrow once I've actually finished the book. But so far, really enjoying it. It's really gripping, and even though I am still struggling with the magic system, there's so many different types of clairvoyance in this world. There are certain parts where I'm not quite understanding everything, but I know that this is the first book in quite a long series. I think, is there 4 books out or 5 books out at the moment? I know the most recent book in the series came out in January, and it's not a complete series yet. Don't actually know when the series is going to be finished or what the plan is, but yeah, that is my Thursday update. Hope everyone is doing good. I just uploaded a new video actually that went live tonight that was my booktube bloopers for the past year. So this week is, I think I've already mentioned this, it's the 1-year anniversary of when I started my booktube channel, and so if you haven't seen that video yet, then I'll leave it linked like up in the cards and in the description, because I was really proud of that video. It took me a really long time to put it all together. I've watched it back a few times and it just makes me laugh, because honestly sometimes filming videos is really hard because everything just seems to go wrong, especially when you have a cat. Hey everyone, and happy Friday. So I actually ended up finishing the Bone season last night. I can't remember if I said I was planning to do that, but I started reading and I realised that I was a lot closer to the end than I thought I was, because I didn't realise that The Pale Dreamer is actually included at the end of the Bone season, or at least the ebook version that I was reading. So kind of wish I knew that before I went and bought a separate copy of The Pale Dreamer, because I wanted to read it first. And so yeah, a little bit annoying, but I'm pretty sure that when I bought the Bone season it was on offer for 99p, and so I probably shouldn't complain too much. But yeah, I finished it last night. I gave this 4 stars overall. I did really enjoy it. However, I think I've mentioned the few issues that I've had as I've gone through this vlog. The magic system was really confusing, and even now I finished the book and I still don't think I fully grasp the whole magic system. There's so much there, and I think in a way it was trying to do too much. And I think that if certain things had been stripped back and just hadn't been mentioned and had been saved for the second book, then maybe I would have found it a little bit easier to follow. But I have heard actually that the magic system does get a lot easier to understand as the books go on. Definitely want to continue the series, and especially because I know that this was the very first book that Samantha Shannon published. So yeah, I'd be really interested to see how her writing progresses and how the story develops. Can't remember if I've mentioned this already, but there are also quite a few tropes in this book that were quite common around the time that it was published, and so it didn't affect my overall enjoyment, but it did mean that there were certain things that I found just a little bit predictable. I don't even know whether predictable is the right word, but there were certain things that didn't surprise me because I kind of saw them coming. There are also content warnings actually for this book that I don't think I've mentioned yet. So there are themes around slavery, and also it's quite violent in places. I don't know whether this book is categorised as YA or adult, but if it is YA, then I would definitely say that it's the top end of that. There are some very graphic scenes in this book, and I don't think I was expecting that, because I think that I had it in my head that this was YA. But yeah, it's one of those books that kind of bridges the two, so another thing that I did just want to mention. In terms of what I'm planning to read next, I don't actually know, because I'm still reading Royal Assassin. I feel like I've talked about this book so much recently, but I'm now, I think, about 65% of the way through the audiobook, and I'm getting to the part now where I think it's really getting going, and I'm finding that when I'm listening to the audiobook I don't want to put it down because I want to find out what's going to happen next. It's been a bit of a slow slog to get to this stage because the beginning of this book, I was really enjoying being back in the world and I was really enjoying being with these characters and seeing the character development, but nothing was really happening. And I don't mind slower paced fantasy books, but yeah, this is very, very slow. I don't actually know if I've mentioned this book in this vlog yet, but Royal Assassin is the second book in the Realm of the Outlaws series by Robin Hobb, and it's a very slow paced political character driven fantasy, and I do really like the way that Robin Hobb writes characters. The first two books follow this main character called Fitz, and I feel like at this point I really know him as a character and he's so precious. I just want to give him a big hug and tell him that everything might be okay. I mean, I don't know if they're going to be okay because this is such a sad series. Nothing seems to go right for these characters, and especially for Fitz. Like, the guy has been through a lot. What I do like about this series though is that there's this underlying mystery plot throughout this trilogy, and I don't know whether things are going to be wrapped up in this book or whether they're going to continue into the next book, but the mystery surrounds this thing that is happening to some of the people in this world, and there's, yeah, like a lot of politics involved and there's some conflict as well, but the way that this book is written, it reminds me actually quite a bit of Lord of the Rings in terms of it is very character driven and it is very slow paced. However, there are still moments where there is more action, and so that's the general vibe of this world. That's the best way that I can think to describe it. Good morning. So I thought I would pop on and have a chat about what I'm currently reading. So I think I mentioned yesterday that I wasn't sure what I wanted to pick up, but I didn't want another fantasy because the audiobook that I'm currently listening to is a fantasy. So I decided to go for The Man I Think I Know by Mike Gale, which is contemporary fiction. I read for about 2 hours last night and I'm already about 40% of the way through. I have read a couple of Mike Gale's other books and I did find that they were quite quick to read. I'm pretty sure that this is around 300 pages, so I might actually be able to finish it this weekend. So this book follows two men called Danny and James, and they're both in, I think, their mid-30s, and Danny has never been able to hold down a job for longer than about a few months, and he finds out at the start of the book that his benefits are about to be cut off, and so he accepts the first job that comes along, which is working as a trainee care assistant, and that's where he meets James, and the story is basically about their friendship, and the book is told from both of their perspectives, so you get alternating chapters from both of their points of view. What I really like about this book is that it's set in the Midlands, not far from where I live, and I'm pretty sure that Mike Gale is from Birmingham. Yeah, a lot of the places that are mentioned in this book I do recognise. Stratford-upon-Avon is about a 35-minute drive from me, and the same with Birmingham, and so I like that I recognise a lot of the places that are being mentioned. As I said, I have read two of Mike Gale's other books, and I've noticed that he does have a very consistent writing style, and all of the books of his that I've read, they do have that similar feel to them where they're about very emotional topics and the characters feel very, very real and the situations feel very realistic, and that is something that I really like. I think the fact that I'm not even halfway through yet and I've almost cried several times, I think that the rest of this book is gonna get really emotional. Hey everyone, so I am now about 70% of the way through The Man I Think I Know, and I am really enjoying this. I do find that books like this tend to have quite a big effect on me because it's very emotional and it is quite heavy in places. One of the main themes that this book is looking at is the way that your life can change quite quickly, and yeah, I can really relate to a lot of what's being said in this book. And in particular, there was one part where James was talking about how people don't like it when bad things happen to young people because they don't like to be confronted with this idea that sometimes people don't end up living the life that they were supposed to lead. And yeah, like that part I think just really affected me because wow, I could definitely relate to that. I think I am going to take a little break from reading now because my dad's just messaged me, so I'm gonna Skype him in about 10 minutes and just have a quick chat like we usually do, like on a weekend weekend just to catch up. And then I'm going round to my mum's this evening because it was my sister's birthday yesterday. So we're gonna watch a film and just, yeah, hang out. Yeah, I think that is pretty much gonna be my day. I don't have any plans for tomorrow other than I would like to film a YouTube video because I don't have a video yet for next week. I was actually planning to film this week and try and get ahead of schedule, but I'm telling myself that it's okay that I haven't been 100% productive because I really needed this week off. I've been feeling really burnt out recently, and I think that it's important to put yourself first every so often, and I feel like I have done that this week, so I'm trying not to be too hard on myself. Hey everyone, so I am here to wrap up this vlog because I finished reading The Man I Think I Know last night and I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars overall. I don't think I've read many books like this where the main theme, or one of the themes that it looks at, is a friendship between 2 men, and so yeah, I really enjoyed that. I was actually looking at how I rated Mike Gale's other books, and I think I gave All the Lonely People 5 stars, and then I gave Half a World Away 4 stars, and I felt a similar way about this book to Half a World Away, and so I decided to give this 4 stars. I think if I had to pick one tiny criticism, it would be that I found this a little bit predictable. However, I don't think that that's actually a bad thing necessarily, just because of the type of book that it is. I don't think it actually matters that I could sort of guess what direction it was going in, but yeah, 4 stars, and I would recommend this if you like this type of contemporary where it is very emotional. So I think I'm gonna end the reading vlog here. I have started another book, but I think I'm gonna wait until next week before I talk about that because yeah, it's Sunday now and I need to get this vlog edited and uploaded. And also next week I am planning to hopefully finish Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb. I am so close to the end now. According to the audiobook, I've got, I think, about 6 hours or 7 hours left before I get to the end, and so I am hoping that I can finish this finally next week. So yeah, thanks again for watching. If you've made it this far, let me know in the comments what you've been reading this week and if you've read any of the books that I've talked about in this vlog. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you did like it, and click subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Bye.